Hi there guys, it's Steve here again. Today I'll be running you through my second video, a comprehensive guide on the Kalphite King boss. Now, JagX says this is the hardest boss in RuneScape history. That is true, but it can also be very easy. Kalphite King requires a lot of communication and teamwork for this to be brought down effectively and fast. Now, in terms of rewards and XP, you've got your most commonly known drops, which is your Drygor weapons, the longsword, the mace and the rapier, along with its offhand counterparts. It does drop a lot of charms. In terms of percentage rates, you've got a 29 to 33% chance on crimson and a 19 to 23% chance on blues. Now the XP can vary quite a bit. It all depends on the phases and how you deal your damage. Now baseline XP is a 37k combat XP. Now, as I said, it depends on your healing and if you guys continue to hit it. It does yield 14.3k Slayer XP. It can be a very good reward for Slayer, but it can take quite a while. I've got a friend who's been sitting on a task of 160 odd now for about 2 weeks, and you need to have a good group if you want to do it as a Slayer task, and you preferably have to do free-for-all just so the person with the Slayer helmet knows he's going to get the kill. So you have to have a trustworthy team. As a bit of a warning and a disclaimer, recently RuneScape has been experiencing quite a bit of server lag. It can be quite severe. About 4.5 days ago, a friend of ours was doing a 4-man and he DC'd inside, lost a Torva full helm, offhand rapier and a Zarite bow. He couldn't get back in. They had a storm over in New York or something and knocked out his power. Now, there is a slight chance you can lose your stuff. It is, but in saying that, it's actually one of the most safest bosses in RuneScape in terms of the fact that you can teleport to the desert and be back there within 40 seconds generally. There is a little graveyard all your loot and stuff will appear in. Bearing in mind now, if you are using chaotics or any degradable weapons or armors, they will appear under your gravestone, so please check under your headstone. If you don't, you run the possibility of picking up your gear and leaving it all behind as well. It wouldn't make a very nice day, I'll tell you that much. Anyway, I'll run you guys through the rest of this video and hope you enjoy it. Cheers! Now, before we go any further, I just want to run over a few things in terms of the French chat and some gear you will need. Now for the French chat, the channel name is 247K King. That is 24/7 Kalphite King. That's what it is for short. Now, upon entering the French chat, rule 1, do not, I repeat, do not add the owner and ask for an ad. Chances are you will get a kick, possibly an ignore list before you've even entered an Insta. And second of all, now, don't flame, don't troll others, don't be a general nuisance, do what you can to help out, make things run smoothly, offer good advice, answer questions. If you're looking for a rank, I suggest bumping forum threads, helping out, hosting instas on a daily basis, stuff like that. Just make your presence known and felt in a warm, comforting way. Excuse my language, but don't be a prick or a troll. You just won't get very far and you'll be ousted before you've even got anywhere. In terms of gear, let's move on to that, eh? Right, now let's go over the 3 main roles. Your provoker, your attacker, which is your DPS role, and tanker. Now I'll go over the provoker role first, and some gear. Auras, let's start off there. Penance, Vampirism, Revenants, all 3 good auras. Vampirism basically gives you a rebuff on any damage you do and gives it back to you in hit points. Penance means any damage you take, you gain back in prayer points. And Revenants basically gives you a boost on your prayer potion sips that you take and reduces the amount of prayer points that get consumed. Cape, Fire Cape, you can swap this out with better capes, say Max Cape, Completionist Cape, Kiln Cape, which I lost at certain God Wars in hard mode. Max Cape is another good one. Steel Cape, but that's more for hybriding. I'll get into that on a different video. The Ceradom's Whisper for your amulet, you can swap that out with the Fury. Drygor Longsword for your weapon. Barrow's Gloves, which you can swap out for Goliath Gloves, Torvid Gloves, Bandos Gloves. The 6-Age Circuit, which gives you an all-around 2.7 crit and plus 12 armor rating. Just be sure when you die you put this into your saved items along with your any degradable things that you might be using, say barrows. Steadfast Boots, which you can swap out with Bandos if you feel the need to. Bandos Tassets. Chaotic Kite Shield, you can either use this or a Bless Shield, which is the Arcane or your Divine or your Spectral. Just be aware though that when using a God Shield, an Arcane or a Divine or a Spectral, you will take a 30% reduction on all damage, but it removes it from your practice. So keep a close eye on that, because that can drop very fast, especially in the Mage and the range phase. Bandos Chestplate for your plate, and your Bandos Helmet. Now, in the different roles, this is my generic setup. I use this pretty much for all 3 roles. But if you've got better gear, say Tetsu, you can swap that out, which is really good for tanking. And your Torva. Just be aware though that if you're going to be using high risk items like Tetsu and Torva, just make sure you're not lagging or anything like that. So you don't really want to take the chance of throwing out 4 months worth of quartz at the door. That happens to a friend of ours not so long ago actually. I felt really bad because I know what it's like to lose stuff like that, so I gave her a bit of a donation after that. In terms of your inventory, always have your offhand or your shield in your inventory. It's a must, especially in 247 Kalphite King. I cannot stress that enough. When provokers have died and there's no one there to take up the role, if there's no assigned backup. 2 oval flasks, 2 super anti-poisons. Don't have to use those, but I prefer just not to get poisoned at all. Prayer renewals, 5 prayer pots, 1 tab, shark, and usually a yak full. I mainly use a yak, especially when tanking and provoker, because you can chew through a bit of food. Now, in terms of abilities, let's start off with the provoker abilities. We've got Slice, Punish, Fury, Sever, Assault, Surge, which is really good in Mage phase to get you out of there in a hurry. Just make sure you're not stunned first, so if you are stunned, use Freedom, then Surge, and it'll get you out there pretty quick. Resonance is my main provoking ability to save my tank. Preparation, which I use directly after using Resonance. Anticipation, which reduces all damage by 10% and gives you immunity from stuns for 10 seconds. Cannot stress how important this ability is, especially in the range and the Mage phase. Barricade, which is my backup provoking ability. I mainly use this if I'm in a spawn of minions, because there is a chance you can get sniped and you will get dropped, and you might lose out on any potential splits. Not to mention you leave your team with no provoker. And Provoke, this is your #1 ability to save everyone. Now, in terms of a DPS setup, give it shift 5 here. Now, of course I would have my main hand equipped at this point. Got Slice, Punish, Havoc, Fury, Sever, Assault, Freedom. Make sure Freedom, if you have multiple bars, is on the same key. Surge, which is another good one. Protect from Magic. Don't have to have that there, but I have it as peace of mind just to make sure. Anticipation, which is your good one. Massacre. Now, I generally only use this ability on the Mage or the range phase when it's most vulnerable to melee. And Berserk, which is a good one. Increases all damage by 100%, but also increases all damage you take by 50% for 20 seconds. In terms of a tank setup, we go in, we'd swap out our shield. You don't have to use a shield when you tank, but it just makes it a little bit easier, and you can use other abilities to make sure your damage is reduced. Just remember, when you're a tanker, your main focus is not dealing damage, it's to keep the Kalphite King aggro on yourself. So we've got Slice again, Punish, Fury, Sever, Assault, Surge, Freedom, Resonance, which can be good because you can take 3k hits quite easily when you're tanking. Debilitate, this is a good one. Debilitate your target by 100% weapon damage and also reduces any damage they do to you by 50% for 10 seconds. You accompany that with Reflect, which reduces another 50% of damage, and reflects it back at the Kalphite King for 10 seconds. Anticipation, when you're a tanker, oh my god mate, this is a really handy one, because when you're a tanker you do get stunned a lot. I cannot stress that. So make sure you have anticipation and freedom at hand always. Provoke. Now, if your provoker saves you, after he's done it, hit this straight away. You want to keep the Kalphite King aggro on you. It just makes things run a lot smoother. Now, as I said before, when you're in tank, you can swap out your bandos. Because of the armor update, it got nerfed the defense on it, but also gives you damage bonus. But as a tank, you're not there for damage, you're there to take the damage and keep it on you, so your DPSs and your provoker can do their jobs effectively, fast, and get really, really good kills. Just makes everything run a lot smoother. Now, as a word of warning, when you're in the tank role, you want to keep the Kalphite King away from the minions. So as soon as it spawns minions and it's in melee phase, be sure to run out to the opposite side of where any minions are and provoke it straight onto you. It will drag you straight out and across, and it keeps him away from your provoker because you don't want him to get sniped. If he does, you're done for, mate. Especially if you don't have no backup. Right. I think it's time for some kills, eh? Now, while you're in the instance, just a couple of things to let you know. Do not use any stun abilities like backhand, kick, anything that stuns, do not use during the melee and the range phase. Now the reason being for this is, what it does is, if the Kalphite King goes to launch its green attack, if it gets stunned, what happens is it pauses it, and by that point your provoker has already evoked it and has pretty much already put into effect his saving ability, either Barricade, Resonance, or Immortality. Now what that means is, if you do stun it, it pauses, and by that time it comes out of its stun, it's the ability they have used to save their own life has timed out, it's gone, it's done. So what happens is, either your evoker will get absolutely dropped or your tanker will get dropped. So please do not use any stun abilities. Now the other thing is, do not use Frenzy. I repeat, do not use Frenzy. The reason being for this is, it uses Barricade. Negating all damage 10 seconds, good fight. Couple other notes, when you see the green shield, get off the Kalphite King, do not hit it, because any hits will give it 100% heal of the weapon damage you have dealt. So just be aware of that. Another thing, the red shield, what that means is, any damage it does, it gives back as healing. So if it's at a red shield on, and it hits a 4k on someone or whoever, it will heal 4k. Apart from that, those are the few things you have to be aware of. Now in the mage phase, that is the only time stuns should be used. The reason being for that is, what it does is, it stops it launching a ball attack. Now with the ball attack, there's a few things you gotta know. The blue ones will stun you. That's its first one, and they generally don't hit you, but sometimes they do, and they can do anywhere between 2 to 4k damage, possibly higher. I'm not sure of a recorded max hit or any official max hits on that. So just be aware of that. Another thing with the ball attack is, the orange balls will land where there are people standing. So what you want to do is, say there's some of you on one half side of the Kalphite King. It'll launch them on that side, so your best bet to staying alive is to run to the opposite side where no one is. Thus, saving your own ass, and it gives you time to give more hits in and deal more damage. But yeah, just being methodical is also a big upper hand in this. So if you know what you're going to be doing, you can take preemptive strikes on things it's going to do. So you keep an eye on its wing color as well. There is 3 phases. The yellow wings stand for its melee phase. That's when it uses its green stuns in the melee phase. Its green wings means it's in range phase. It will also use the green attack in that one. And the blue wings are the mage phase. Generally, when it goes into mage phase, you can get stunned straight away, so your best bet is either have anticipation already used just as it's already done it, or use freedom and get out of there as soon as possible to the other side with no one standing, thus saving your own life again. So just keep an eye on things and make sure you're taking in your surroundings and you're being aware of what's going on around you. And also, if you're a provoker, keep an extremely close eye on your tank. And if you're a tanker, keep a close eye on your provoker. If you're DPS, you keep an eye on both. Because if one of them, either all of them die, you want to be able to pop out your shield if need be and swap role. And if you can do it without being asked to do so, it also could possibly save another life, because a lot of the time when someone stops to type, that's when they get dropped, and it can be quite annoying. So do as you can just to make things go a little bit more smoother and make things a bit more effective. I'm sorry this video has taken this long. It's been a bit longer than I'd like to have had, but I wanted to cover all my bases so you guys fully understand what will happen in there. Do not expect to go in there and not die. If you've never been to Kalphite King, the chances are you will die within the first 2 to 3 minutes, because you're just not expecting what will happen. And it's just a learning thing. You have to learn. You'll become more comfortable in there. The shakes will stop after a while, believe me. So just take time, practice, and try and find a good team. Like, doing repeat trips with people you know gives you guys a sense of a bit of teamwork, and you begin to work better together, and you begin to mold as one jealous unit. So just keep those things in mind. Now I'm going to run you through the rest of this and it should be done. I'll see you guys at the end, and thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video and you found it helpful, please just throw me a like, subscribe, drop a comment if I've missed anything out. That would be much appreciated. I'm not going to monetize any of my videos because, quite frankly, I just don't believe in it. I'm doing this as a public service to help people, not to make money off it, and that's the way I see it. Other than that, keep watching, guys. Hope you really enjoyed it. I find it really useful for you. Thanks. Right, sorry, just a couple of things I missed. In terms of the Kalphite King, when it starts to glow orange, that's its charge attack, so stay out of its way because you will get charged back and you can take anywhere between 100 damage up to, I think the most I've ever had was around 4k damage, so just be aware of that one, so don't want to stand in front of it. Also, now the tanker, do not stand next to the tanker. If you can, stand to the side, always stand on the side of the Kalphite King. That also stops you taking direct front-on hits. You can be taking up to 4k damage during that, so, and it just makes your tanker's job a little bit easier. Apart from that, I think I've covered all my bases and should help you guys be a bit more prepared for what you're going to expect in there. A big thank you to Distinct KIX, Dooching Good, Fat Farm, Reaper 1896. You guys were a big help with this, and I couldn't have done it without you. Also, Distinct, Dooch, and myself are all ranked in 24/7 Kalphite King, so if you have any questions, feel free to ask. Really helpful people, and they should give you some information you might find useful. Apart from that, I really hope you enjoyed it. Good luck, and hope you get some good splits. Peace, man.